Hello, you handsome person. I recently just realized that I have an entire folder of that time when I thought, you know, I don't want to have sanity anymore. A launched flail? What in the farts is that? Have you ever thought that a mace needed to be nerfed? No? Well, welcome to Launched Flails. It's a subclass of a subclass. They are glorified boomerangs. I've set a couple of ground rules I must follow so that I stick to the true nature of Launched Flails. First, I can only deal damage with Launched Flails. There will not be a part in this playthrough where I'm allowed to use any form of any other weapon. Second, I can only use armor that benefits melee weapons in any way. Third, rage. I want to be mad, angry, mad, and maybe even angry. So we start by spawning into the enter character name biome and sacrifice all of my 9 brain cells to such an outdated, unfunny meme that it really just shows that I should have finished this video 5 years ago. I explore the newest biome in the 1.5 update, the enter world name biome, and go into a 9 brain cell debt as I make another unfunny name for an unfunny character. Now take very detailed notes and look at how I chose a large corrupt world. These choices will become very vital in the playthrough later on. We all know that short swords in the game are just pre-armor drills. Red just forgot to add the code where, you know, it mines. Why else would I have the stats of a drill? No matter what, it's not a launchable flail, so it immediately gets sent to purgatory. That leads us to a very horrible issue. The only launchable flail I can get right now is in early pre-hard mode, so it sucks. Kind of like the Crimson Rod. It is the chain knife, which is locked behind a 0.4% drop rate from a very aggressive mouse with wings. But that's something for future me to cry over. For now, I help advocate for the extinction of all trees. Can you imagine all the repetitive NPC housing we could put here? You see, to solve a quote-unquote housing crisis, just build more freaking houses. This is exactly how you solve real-world problems. What's in it? A boomerang! I can't wait for an Only Boomerang Not the Bees playthrough. I will not do Boomerang Not the Bees. I don't want another purgatory sentence. How about a good fun playthrough where I find 2 chests just chilling next to each other? One of them had some cleats. That only served to be a funny reference to that one SpongeBob episode. Cleats? The other chest had a worthless, pathetic stick that I'll use to stab the guy's left eye later. Memer. What? Why? There was no reason for me to make that sound. I just kind of did. I seriously do not know what that was. I'm very sorry about that. I do know what a mace is, and I just kind of stare at it. I contemplate if I really am him. Am I him? If I really were him, would I find a mirror and finally understand why every person I meet of the female variant runs and cowers away from me? Why? I absolutely love getting rubbed out by a piranha. I try to flatter the demolitionist into moving into my suburban masterpiece with no rent. I would give my NPCs food, but that requires responsibility. I'm not yet ready to take responsibility for anything, including that time when I used a snorkel to stab the guy's left eye. Whatever. At least I've gathered a ton of pipe bombs to cause earthquakes beneath my NPC housing. But remember, demolitionist, no rent. As I continue pipe bombing, Eladon, the traveling merchant, has arrived. All he sells is disappointment with a lick of sadness. But sadness can't stop me from finding another mother frickin' mirror. Every brain cell I somehow still have wants to stand up, walk outside, open a manhole cover, and dive in head first. What? How did I get this? Why is it here? I immediately check back on the recording and realize that my excessive pipe bombing caught an innocent cave bat, dropping that voluptuous chain knife. But that's not good. It died to a pipe bomb. That's a ranged weapon, not launched or flail. Therefore, this very, very hot and seductive chain knife was acquired illegally. Consider it cheating if I actually use it. The amount of luck that goes into a 0.4% drop on the first bat I kill is beyond the luck required for endangering glowing pink men for a magical pink stick. This freaking hurts. I am mad. I am angry. I am furious. Outraged. Any synonym you could find on Merriam-Webster's thesaurus. I will set out and do absolutely whatever it takes to rightfully get this disgrace of a weapon. The demolitionist finally heckin' moves in, so now I got infinite pipe bomb. With these pipe bombs, I will build the ultimate underground bat smacker 2000. I plan on using lava to burn several cave bats, almost to extinction. See, this still follows the rules of the playthrough because it's not really my fault that the bats just wandered into lava. It's also not really my fault that cave bats decide to walk into my pipe bombs, but whatever, this works. All I have going into this is a golden pickaxe, 2 entire copper coins, and a gosh freaking dream, baby. I will mutilate every cave bat that I come across. When will it end? I'm running out of marbles to lose. I can't find a reason to build up any more emotion when I'm just gonna lose it anyways. What did I do to inflict this on myself? Was it that time when I stabbed the guide's left eye? This is the gigatillionth time I've died to a freaking cave bat. Again, this is the gigatillionth It's done. It's over. I'm done. I finally finished the Ultimate Underground Bat Smacker 2000 without any deaths or desk beatings. No sir ma'am. There isn't any bite marks on my gamer mouse or gamer headphones. I even added NPC housing and a shadow candle so I could basically just toggle if I want enemies to spawn. Now all I have to do is just sit here as those pesky cave bats willingly burn to death. So after several hours of walking away and playing Terraria on the Nintendo Switch, a very hot, very handsome, attractive, seductive, keen chain knife drops into my sweaty gamer chippy grimace hands. I also seem to have several goodie bags because I did this during October of 2023. I really need to get into an upload schedule. Upon opening my second bag, I get the bat hook. Holy flippin' shiz. This absolute baller of a hook can only be rivaled by hooks obtained in late hard mode. I think it's safe to say I don't need to replace this anytime soon, or anytime later for that matter. I want the cat license. Now that I can actually, you know, attack, I explore the world more and come across a corruption biome. I get to test my brand new weapon on some demon butt cancer that can float for some odd reason. As I explore below the corruption, I find a chest that doesn't have another heckin' mirror, but something that makes me happy, perhaps spontaneous. How do I spell spontaneous? As I attack and get closer to the enemy, the chain knife reloads faster, causing faster attack speed. What a fun and wacky strategy. Just walk up to the enemy, pretty much kissing, making out at this point to do any noticeable damage. You know, my suburban housing, which is free of rent by the way, is nowhere near the absolute beauty of the Only Magic Others sky base. So after measuring for about 5 minutes, I start on one of the most grand units of a house I've ever built. And that's literally the entirety of this 2-hour recording. It's just 2 hours of building a giant castle. I don't know why I'm pipe bombing Desert Fossil. Scarab bombs are nice, but it's just, you know, faster to mine the tunnel rather than going mining to mine a tunnel. Oh wow, a mushroom biome that I totally didn't drown in earlier. There seems to be 2 heart crystals, you know, just chilling there. And another mace. Another reminder that I may not actually be him. Once I arrive home, I drink this purple liquid, even though it's far past its expiration date. Who even freaking cares about those anyways? The only thing those dates do is tell you when the liquid gets more tasty. Like in milk, for example. Or a slightly moist, ooey gooey mold found on some cheeses and bread. It's so tasty. But when it comes to expired potions, I've often found that I suddenly gain the ability to see God for a couple seconds. I also find that I fall limp, dying on the spot. Sky pool. Oh, hello, Pennywise reference. Another fudging pool. That's funny. That was my last and only bottle of expired Advil. If I want any chance on finding more gravity-defying booze, I'll have to look for more underground, as I don't really feel like growing weed. Deathweed. I mean deathweed. I don't want to grow deathweed. Gotta clarify that. But I get quickly interrupted by an incoming angry British mob, probably because I stabbed their secretary in the left eye. They quickly bust through my door and hurl the most vulgar British slang my way. You pile of rubbish. On guard, you dirty imbecile. My mill grinds pepper and spice. Your mill grinds rats and mice. Shut up, you 1200 sounding idiot. This is the point where I begin to question my choice to start this playthrough, because I'm doing absolutely no damage. After what seems like 6 decades, I use enough social skills and professional speaking to ward off the angry mob. My strategies seem to attract a dapper looking, selfish, greedy little turd that makes money for a living. What a moron. After acquiring Spectre Boots swag, I reach into my drawer and take out a wiggling eye. And I do the thing whenever my local gangster offers me a cigarette. I begin to chew on it. It turns out that the gangster's probably drunk dad didn't like our actions, as he paid a good 2 copper coins for that specific cigarette. Holy frick, I'm actually fighting a boss right now. Despite my mediocre damage, the father gets really freaking ticked off and growls at me. Okay. He charges at me with his 16-year unbrushed teeth. I dodge. He insults my weight. I dodge. The longer we fight, the more zany and bombastic his movements are, making me feel pretty heckin' scared. But we all know that the Eye of Cthulhu is the second most free boss in the game. I don't even get down to critically injured, and I still make that zany and wacky father explode and drop a very handsome shield of drunk fathulu. His pocket money also allows me to reforge my chain knife and somehow get godly pretty quickly. Nice. Oh, do you hear that? Yeah, that's right, it's slime time. It's time to stab some jello to death. It's in this moment that I remember that time when I kissed a butt cancer. To do any amount of damage, I have to basically make out with the king slime. He just deleted a 1/5 of my health. Where did it go? Where did it go, man? All I seem to do to the king is increase the cost of his child support. Cause gosh dang, that's a ton of children. What? Stop it! Stop! Well, that was really freaking weird. The king tried to demote himself to 1800s coal miner. But you guys know me. I like to fit with the times, so I pulled the classic 1800s prank. It's called throwing a red-hot flaming coal so freaking hard that everyone in a 3.14 mile radius gets ionized out of existence. With that said, no Victorian-era children were set on fire in the making of this video. We are Chad. We are the definition of hyper-progression. 2 bosses are already thrown in a dumpster behind a Costco in London. I am, however, still incomplete without that Goomba-stomping jiggly little gremlin known as the Slimy Saddle. I was lucky enough to craft 2 slime crowns because I truly didn't expect to one-shot the easiest fight known to man. One more calm fight later, I get my sweaty hands on the ultimate vertical movement detonator. Anyways, I go to the jungle and make a house there so I can teleport with a pylon. The best NPCs to do this is with the Dryad and the Painter, so I'm sure that many repulsive and down bad paintings will be made here. I'm back in the underground desert again. I don't need scarab bombs. The amount of rage I have for the second British mob is actually not that much. They make me happy now. I finally put those scarab bombs to use and find an ankle monitor that will greatly enhance my mobility. After I begin my very legal and certified garden, I challenge the next boss. After finding a staff of regrowth and crafting this axe of regrowth, I go stab the next boss too. After looting more of the jungle, I prepare for a boxing match. After dropping my cat straight into lava, I go after finding the freaking shimmer. Dude, I do literally every single side quest before doing another boss fight. Once it's nighttime, I move the actual Grim Reaper next to the loot goblin into the new Shimmer Shake House, to which he responds by blushing a little. This has him sell the cavern pylon so I can TP to the shimmer whenever I want. Are you kidding me? Dear Red, what is this crap? I am in the shimmer, not the aether, by the way. And I get scammed by a certified scammer for selling me a jungle pylon even though you and I both know I already have a jungle pylon. I requested a cavern pylon, so I'll be expecting a new patch soon fixing this bug. After retrieving the actual cavern pylon from the ultimate underground batsman, I place it in the shimmer, and then I decide, you know what? I'm not sending my dead great-grandmother into debt. I'll just repeatedly drop my own shoes in the shimmer until they give the rest of my body protection. Let's do the exact same thing, but with a magoluminescence, because that's fun. It's finally time to make my very own expired Advil and tweak really freaking hard. So hard that I wake up in someone's dusty Crackden with a talking horseshoe that somehow breathes so hard that it creates enough force to prevent me from breaking my knees after jumping off a building. And it's just floating in space? Man, that crap does some weird shiz. Balloon, shimmery forging. The next boss, which I'm finally challenging, is the big cancerous worm. Yeah, make a desert pylon. Yes, please, freaking please. I implement my strategy of breathing down the worm's neck in order to attack really fast. But does it really matter when I do no damage? This reminds me of the time I tried to kill a fly by using the force. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. I try out this second strategy that one would call maximum breathing down neck. I somehow have an ungodly amount of defense without any armor, and the worm's body doesn't do much damage. May as well exploit this. Holy frick, I'm actually doing damage. Pain. Everything is pain. Surprise pyramid coming in absolute clutch. Alright, frick it. Buff time. These buffs will certainly make a difference. They allow me to take 1 damage per body hit, and I just immediately heal it back with the regen potion. This run looks promising, but the worm splits way too much and I'm not really able to— No, I have this funny feeling, this devious feeling. I was able to kill enough segments to where I have 6 shadow skills, and I already have a lot of demonite. You know where this is going. I can make a nightmare pickaxe, which allows me to mine some pretty hot rocks, which allows me to make some pretty hot armor. Molten armor causes me to constantly be drenched in my own sweat for the rest of pre-hard mode. Hopefully this will keep us safe. Look at that damage. I think that's more than last time, maybe. Even when I wasn't able to be inside the worm all the time, I still stayed at a very healthy amount of health. Yes. It feels nice to have worm guts shower over me. It almost distracts me from my vigorously sweating body. Now that I have a warding worm scarf, frick, I have used up my monthly allowance of luck. I am in luck debt. Debt squared. I'm once again asking for your help because nothing fortunate will happen to me for the next 24 hours. Oh, well, there's some help right here. Kill Queen Bee. Okay. A peace candle would help with arena building if it, stops hornets from spawning. Hornet. Bro, get the NPCs over here. Towns will keep the hornets out. Man, I'm so freaking happy towns exist. I even whipped out the ruler because I know I'm not building a Plantera arena in hard mode. Once the arena was finished, I ended the recording. Well, that's okay, because I'll come back next recording, fully prepared for the fight. I know Queen Bee's attack patterns pretty well. I know how to dodge. It should be fine. Why is my game suddenly in German? So 3 minutes into the fight and I still did nothing. In order to do more damage, I have to get scarily close to the boss. 1 extra hit, 11 damage. Great. Oh, shoot. Apparently, I forgot one of the most vital strategies to killing Queen Bee, which I actually found in my last playthrough. In case you didn't know, bees know how to get jiggy with it. We get into this dance where we orbit each other, and for some reason, this makes Queen Bee tweak the frick out. She won't attack, summon bees, or even shoot out a stinger. Heck, all she knows is dance. We have to keep her in this hypnotic state by also orbiting around her. But because I have no freaking range, I have to get scarily close. And by doing that, Queen Bee snapped out of it and went back to stinging and beeing. Fast forward about 10 minutes and I'm not doing damage. If you didn't know, Queen Bee gains more and more defense as she realizes that she's losing the battle. Freaking crybaby. Stupid idiot monarch who probably cheated on every bee in the colony. Ah yes, a time lapse of the last 5 minutes of a 30-minute fight. She is at a minuscule amount of health, ticking down to a slightly more minuscule amount of health. This took an embarrassing amount of nurse heals to beat, but either way I still did it. I just find it amazing that I will use absolutely none of the items Queen Bee drops. The fourth boss is dead. Why is there a giant German flag in my house? I'm not ready to whip out the Das Boot yet. I'm not yet worthy to speak the language of the Tavern Keep. The Council of Six won't accept me. Have you ever heard of a pylon? They're so good. They make me teleport closer to the dungeon where I'll kill my very next boss, Mr. Wiggles the Bone Man. He's so funny. But I first need to verbally insult a crusty, musty, busty, zesty old man. He doesn't like how we insulted his mother, so he freaking dies and lets his wiggly bones take care of us. Sure, do it on a blood moon. Frick. I eventually realize I'm not doing anywhere near enough damage to kill Mr. Wiggles by daytime, so I just leave. I think it's time to use buffs. I go back to the zesty old man and press fluch. The strategy works and his bone hands gets fractured. All that's left is his bone head, which now throws more bone head since he no longer has hands. Now it's just a matter of using my chain knife really freaking hard and hopefully winning. I just got the best freaking furniture item in the entire game. Chippy Grimace sits on Chippy's couch. Freaking love that guy. With Mr. Wiggles Jiggles dead, I can go into the dungeon without getting quote-unquote boned. The sheer amount of stone platforms I just made probably breaks some sort of international law. One person should not have this many rocks. Could you imagine all the damage I could do to the deer population as I chuck rocks at them? Oh wait, stone platforms aren't launched flails. Could you imagine all the damage I'll do to the deer population as I chuck a knife at it? So I adopted this new strategy of editing called script as you trim. It makes me rediscover the order of events as I script, so it's like I'm watching the video with you. You could actually see this in real time. Look outside your nearest window and you might just see some movement. I have scripted everything up to this point without realizing that I completely stopped playing this playthrough for 3 entire months. In that time, I got better mic audio and completely forgot what I did in the playthrough other than chain knife equals content. Also, my game's back in English, so that's neat. I think this is easier. Oh my gosh. Okay, so oh, wow, this is nostalgic already. Yeah, believe it or not, I have fun doing these torturous challenges. This is only my second one. Like, script sucks. Who wrote this? I looked at the ultimate underground bat and didn't want to lodge my gamer mouse right into my skull. I actually felt excited. Right now, I'm trying to harvest as much wire as I can from the underground because the mechanic learns from her disease-ridden boyfriend and freaking stabs you and takes your wallet. I need these wires so I could set up another grand creation that contends with the creativity of the ultimate underground. I call it the Ultra Sigma Teleportation Room. I'll set up teleporters all over the world because I apparently don't know what pylons are. I do not know what I was thinking. Yeah, make a nurse house but not a pylon house. The amount of stupidity emitting from myself could probably use to generate energy. Energy crisis solved. Just use stupid idiot gamma rays or something. How does a deer make this thing? Was it made by that weird bipedal stickman crossed with the cyclops owl deer? Also known as the man, the myth, the legend deercLops? That's our next boss and it's able to be cheese since when it's on a platform it can't do the debris launching attack. It just jumps off? I actually have to fight this boss as intended, which I never did because I always just cheesed it. You know what? I'm doing a melee playthrough. I'm already a freaking tank. Who cares? Who gives 8 craps about your icicles, deercLops? No sir, not me. I do not partake in such activities. Let's expand the Ultra Sigma Teleportation Room to new horizons. This time I'm not able to use a pylon because the cavern pylon is already in use by Greetzer McGee and his psychotically greedy girlfriend. We are at the worst part of this absolute banger of a game. I hate wall of flesh preparation. Every little inconvenience that tries to kill me forces me to retreat because, you know, I can't do crap to enemies. If there were a game that would have me die from gaining rage, Fortnite rocket racing would cause it, and wall of flesh arena building comes at a very far second. Nothing on this earth can beat the amount of pure agony I feel when I play few to many rocket racing matches. I want purple! I want purple car! Purple car, go fast! I need to take a break from this, so let's go golfing. I don't know why this sport exists. It's a really weird water-consuming hobby that somehow turned into a competitive sport. Whatever the crap those old guys are doing is whack, man. In my opinion, I need to clarify that this is my opinion. Formal golf is the stupidest sport to ever reach a global scale. Mini golf, though, that's allowed. Once I get enough golf points, the golfer becomes so generous as to gift me with his golf cart that he most certainly peed in. This cart allows me to outrun the wall of flesh much easier as he goes really freaking fast in master mode. Back to wall of flesh arena building. Oh look, the festival pass is here to rip out my shoulder blades. It's just another grind stacked on top of rocket racing and BR. Oh hello Lego Fortnite monetized building sets. Wow. Good one. There's not much of a reason for you to exist. It's like so that people can like look at it. That's okay, maybe. Oh, here comes the fire imp to throw another crossover battle pass cash grab. That happens every season. Most of this will never be used and will probably just appear in an item shop one day. It's another grind. It's more quests. But does that all really matter when we realize that we can just ignore it? Take that, you successful company. Back to heck where I'll make my third teleporter for the Ultras. This will teleport me to the leftmost part of the underworld where I will around the guided lava several times. This will greatly reduce the amount of time it takes to run across the entire underworld, especially because of that very important decision I made during world creation. This is a large world, which means it takes a lot of time to run across the entire underworld, and therefore a lot of time to beat the wall of flesh with my minuscule damage. How have I gone this long without the void bag, baby? My game is in German again. Hold on, Beutel. That's interesting. Alright, the underworld bridge is done. The guy doesn't know why he's in heck. I really don't have much of a plan for this fight. This really was just a heck it moment, so it's really predictable on what happens. Instead of actually getting buffs, I retreat to the wiki, looking for anything to tank the wall of flesh. All I find is disappointment in a pair of Frostfunkenstiefel. With another 80 years of shimmer reforging and finally gathering buffs, it's round flippin' 2. Stupid little idiot short guy Napoleon Bonaparte versus me. We're doing just fine in Northern Europe, and this puny little guy in the south should be easy to take care of. Holy fudge! I am doing nothing. I honestly have little to no hope or patience at the moment. I could try different strategies, but that's lame. I admit defeat, man. Not completely though. It's just a moderate defeat. I didn't lose. I just merely failed to win. So you know how there's accessories that do damage? They aren't launched flails. They're just helpful accessories that just happen to do damage. This is a lame way out. It's cowardly. I fix it later, don't worry. Anyways, I add an extra accessory to the arsenal. It's the weird skull thing deerc'Lops drops. It summons hands. Napoleon is off doing whatever he's doing in Egypt, and without him, France is nothing. Napoleon came back. He's still puny. He's still small. We can beat him. This guy really just crossed the Alps for a surprise attack in Italy. This guy just has way too much zest. Let's go again, this time with a honey necklace, and maybe actually find a strategy that works. Bro, this guy just spanked Austria so freaking hard for the third time, it's barely even funny. What? Prussia, what are you doing? This is the exact screen the Prussians saw in 1806. It would be if my game were still in German. There goes the 5th coalition. I was so freaking close. One too many exhales and this guy explodes. But next fight should be a breeze. France is without their leader because I banished him to Elba. He'll never come back from that place. He just came back. I'm done with this crap. I will do anything in my power, anything in my fragile gamer body to make this pathetic Napoleon wall of flesh Bonaparte implode into several warm bits of diced up flesh, watching his stupid, pathetic, huge eyes and mouth wither away into nothingness on Saint Helena. Oh, it's over. It's over for you, bro. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. Yeah. Yeah! I won, but I cheated. It's scummy. It's stupid. It's stinky. I don't like stinky. So I think I need to prove myself worthy. And it just so happens that I have a very overpowered journey mode character with every single imaginable piece of armor and accessory, with a large journey mode world with an underworld bridge spanning the entire width of the underworld, unobstructed by those stupid little idiot obsidian houses. That's right. I'm making a new journey mode character with the exact stats and equipment as Chippy Grimace. I switched up the deercLops skull thing with a band of regen, and the honey necklace with ye average tooth necklace. Of course it's all warding. My chain knife is godly because this weapon is too mediocre to have legendary. That's not a joke. Launched flails aren't able to have legendary. I crack only the coldest one with the imaginary boys as I chug every obtainable pre-hard mode potion in existence. This does include life force potions, which does require a hard mode fish to craft, but Big Papa Andrew Spinks made life force potions appear in shadow chests, so it's fair game. So I took after my old game design days and didn't really playtest this giant bridge. You know what? Frick it. I got hops. Now is a great time to mention a couple potions that I didn't use in the actual fight. First up, Inferno Potion. It makes enemies randomly combust if they get too close to me. This doesn't actually affect the wall of flesh itself because the eyes and mouth can't be set on fire, but the hungry can. Poison Imbue. This potion allows me to dip my chain knife into some ground up hornet guts to cause damage over time. There is an imbue for setting things on fire, but again, the wall of flesh can't be set on fire. The wall of flesh has 3 different hitboxes sharing the same exact health, and if I'm able to poison all 3 parts, I get to maximize my damage. Oh no! Alright, extra strategy. Deck out my entire arena with cat statues that somehow give me an extra 5 defense. Some of you may point out that there are only a limited amount of bass statues in the world, to which I respond, bitch! Did you know that Oasis crates drop bass statues, so theoretically you can get this many in one world. Another new strategy is constantly dumping honey on myself throughout the fight. That extra regen helps a ton. This fight is actually going really well. Alright, it's over. It's pretty much over. It's a stage of the fight where I can just chill. Let's go! Napoleon Bonaparte, sealed in a coffin, that's inside of another coffin, that's inside of another coffin, inside of another coffin, finally inside another coffin. This unfortunately only marks the halfway point. Several minutes of this video dedicated to one boss, and I still have so much more suffering to go through. But hey, I'm now in the better part of the game, because now I have access to more launchable flails. The first one is gained from Pearlwood crates. That's my first crate. If I ever need luck with fishing, I just need to record it and upload it to YouTube. Because every time I fish for a video, I just get so lucky. The anchor is a launched flail affected by gravity. It's notoriously pretty freaking bad, but it does more than 20 damage max. This means I could actually progress and summon the finest, most fanciest, most exquisite wraith heck you can imagine. Adamantite? Yes! The chestplate leggings only has general damage boosts, nothing for specific classes, which goes against my rule of only using armor that benefits melee damage. But they are needed in order to have a class-specific set bonus the different headpieces give. Also, have I ever told you that this armor just looks so much better than titanium? I think it's an appropriate time to dive back into Sphincter Cancerland, where bony cancer chests reside. This is where that second important world creation decision comes in. If I didn't make this world corruption, it could have been crimson, where instead of cancer chests, it's fleshy chests. Cancer chests are able to drop another beautiful weapon of the launched flail variant. They are the chain guillotines, ready to chop the heads off of any king or queen it comes across. It just so happens that the next boss I'll be revolting against will be a plump and mean queen slime. She doesn't have a head, but I'll find a way to chop it off anyways. But I'm interrupted by a blood moon, which spawns a really goofy and silly clown who squirts water into our eyes from his flower bow tie. I have not been able to see correctly since. I chop the clown's head off and find that his spine is made out of our third hard mode launched flail. It's the KO cannon, which is the sequel to Chain Knife. Chain Knife 2. Its range is laughable, just like the Chain Knife. Its damage is laughable, just like the Chain Knife. And its drop rate is laughable, just like the Chain Knife. Back to revolutionary ideas, I prepare to visit the Queen Slime by making my house hollow. But I'm impatient. I go back to my deercLops arena with my Ultra Sigma Toe, which now holified can spawn the Queen Slime. Let's use the KO cannon instead of an actually good weapon. Yeah, I need wings. That's what made me lose. My lack of wings. While grinding for wyverns, I find that the anchor can do damage when returning back to you. Before I craft wings, I need to die to Queen Slime again because my ego was getting too big. There we go. It's the least manly set of cute and weak looking wings. These wings look like the equivalent to a small kitten, but you know what they say about kittens? They are the real creators of our realm. They created all life, emotions, and objects. Humanity innovates quickly, but the day of reckoning approaches quicker. I didn't almost die in Nurse Heels. I, in fact, didn't, if you were wondering. What a great callback to the last guillotine. You know, back in ye olden times of 1977? What the fuck? That was like 45 years ago. My dad could have attended that. The French Revolution was 235 years ago. What would someone have to do to get their head chopped off so recently? Oh! Dang. This pylon is not in the correct biome to use. My house is surrounded by manly, aggressive unicorns. I'm becoming a hollow supremacist. Frick the corruption, frick the crimson. Who even gives 2.5 craps about the forest? It's all about that manly baby blue, baby blue, baby blue trees. My vice president, the wizard, he approves of my message. Why is he in his shimmered form? So of course I've established several times before that launched flails are just freaking awful. I need to get as buffed out as I can. So this includes a cursed flame imbued drinking addiction and an absolute iced out armor set. Absolutely iced out frost armor set. This gives me extra melee stat buffs and the ability to combine green fire with cold fire. I don't think there's actually any bonus for having 2 fire debuffs, but I don't care. Oh, destroyer summon. I'm about to get so humiliatingly whooped, it's not even funny. The philosophy of heck it clearly doesn't apply to 90% of Terraria bosses. Yeah, I'll be sure to learn my lesson for the twins. Forget simping for Plantera. I simp for the twins. Surely one of them will like me back. Spaz begins to make my frost armor melt because they're just so hot. But remember, I still have that drip, as that heat makes my armor drip. Rettengeezer's horrible aim makes me sweat so hard that they caught me dripping in sweat. Take notes on the keyword in that sentence, dripping. I still have that drip, that ice, that fit. My game is so crazy right now, I can't imagine how excited the twins are. Oh, Spaz, your backwash. It's just so hot. No, I don't think you understand. It's really hot. All right, well, I guess Spaz had to leave and go somewhere. They must have been dying to go there. Hey, Rettengeezer, what are you doing? Oh, I don't think that's very nice, Rettengeezer. You just watched your twin die and you immediately begin to flirt with me like that? Shame. Shame on you. I'm about to be incredibly humiliated again. It's not even funny. I really should have learned my heck it lesson, but whatever. You know what, Skeletron Prime? Heck it! He works as a delivery man and thinks that his job includes ringing the doorbell at disgustingly fast speeds and running away to avoid any social interaction. I, of course, am always at the front door to answer as soon as his stupid little vice grabber touches the doorbell. We first just stand there, staring at each other menacingly. Skeletron Prime seriously considers running away with my package. I continue to look him down, straight into his 2 red glowing eyes, 1,000-yard stare style, and proceed to let out the most hideous, loudest, ear-piercing scream known to man. Skeletron Prime doesn't know what to do, so he just spins in place. Ew. You think the mighty art of spin jitsu will stop the guillotines? You thought wrong, Metal Boy! What an idiot. If only this worked on Destroyer. I need a plan. A plan with a ton of iron. So you know how some bosses have the ability to scream and run away if you get too far from them? Yeah, believe it or not, it's not just us that can do it. It just so happens that the Destroyer isn't one of those crybaby cowards. He's the chattiest Ultima and doesn't care about gravity at all. He just floats through the air if he's off screen. I can exploit that. If I could somehow straighten his entire worm body, then I could use that anchor strategy I found. You know, the one where it does damage as it comes back to me? I'll be able to do this with a really freaking long minecart track. Well, he will hopefully latch onto the tracks as if it were a ground or platforms. Then I bounce back and throw the anchor, and watch as his health bar tinkles down as the anchor slowly makes its way back to me. He just goes through the minecart track? Fudge! Alright, so small patch update. Line the minecart track with as many platforms so the Destroyer can follow me. Uh-oh. He's too fast. He has that zest. My minecart can't even match those speeds. Alright, make the bounce back thingy closer and try again. He's approaching me yet again, but it's too late for this little rascal. I'm at the turnaround point and... Oh! Yo! That actually worked pretty well. So let's do it again. Why is my health so low? You know what? I think that was a glitch. Red, please patch. I've been dying a lot lately, and the gravestones are really starting to add up. I don't know where else to put the gravestones, so I just kind of dumped them right outside the Dryad's house. This causes her to sell the opposite world evil in seed form. This is a corruption world, and I want a crimson biome. I don't really want it to spread too much, so I'll dig out this giant tunnel to prevent it from spreading. Why am I doing this, you probably found yourself asking? Well, it's obviously to gain the ability to farm mushrooms and enemies for vertebrae. Vicious powder. Don't ask me how this stuff is meant to be vicious, but I do need a lot of it. I put all of my vertebrae and vicious powder into a demon altar and pull out a spine dripping in literal blood. I want to fight a giant brain who doesn't even need a spine to function, so I pull out my old clown spine and offer it to the brain. Once it predictably declines, I proceed to beat the crap out of it. The KO cannon hasn't really been used this playthrough, so let's give it the honors, shall we? This went quite swimmingly. The giant brain gives me a small brain, which somehow has the ability to walk through enemies. This will help in dodging some of the destroyer's many worm segments and probes. I also built a very cheesy nurse house where the destroyer will hopefully not find her. Holy frick. This strategy is actually crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if it made a guest appearance on a try not to get satisfied impossible video. I teleport back to my coward cheesy nurse house to heal up and start going back to the destroyer, who's straightened out again. I can't tell if this strategy is technically cheesing the fight, but either way, I'm sure Red would approve of it. There's not an instance where I dropped below 200 health. Oh! Do not try to kiss the destroyer. Same goes for Skeletron Prime, but especially the destroyer. You do not want a one-shot Johnson kill directly into your face. Luckily, flails are melee, and melee is just another way of saying tank. Get out. Get out, please! Yeah! Dude, bring a Cthulhu clutch! The clutch lords themselves blessed me with the beyond goated brain of confusion 1 in 6 chance of a dodge. That was the most clutchage I have ever experienced in this game, maybe. Drax! I think the Molten Gauntlet would be a great addition to my accessory slots. Its big melee stat boost should help me Gia the absolute teen out of my enemies. All I'm missing is the latex Titan glove that both serves as a reference to Lethal Company and a nod towards the common surgeon's ability to make swords, spears, flails, boomerangs, yo-yos, and whatever the frickin' other is just a little bit bigger. I make a mimic farm to grind out money and maybe even get a Titan glove, but then I just stumble across another mimic outside of the farm who just decides, man, I pity this guy. First of all, ouch. Second of all, yes! The Molten Gauntlet finally upgrades my very hot and very cold guillotines to RGB Gamer Guillotines. The red fire from the Gauntlet's Magma Stone, green fire from my crippling Cursed Flame Imbue Addiction, and blue fire from my still dripping, iced out Frost Armor set. This is what fueled the French Revolution to its max, and this is what will fuel my undying rage towards Plantera's existence. I pipe bomb my Queen Bee arena to create a large chasm downward so that Plantera's bouncy balls can't bounce back up to the actual arena. I began to mine chlorophyte, which needed that high quality mint condition Drax to mine, even though it's just a plant. It can make some pretty dope armor, even though it's just a plant. I eat some fruit, which permanently increases my HP, even though it's just a plant. All this plant stuff is pretty great. Is this why vegans are so vocal? All this extra life should help with the wall of flesh. Huh. That's weird. My monitor has bite marks on it. Must be a glitch. Red, please fix. There we go. Goat Skull. If you have never heard of this thing, that could mean 2 things. 1, you haven't killed this boss enough. Or 2, you don't play on desk beating mode. Alright, heck it! I built a nurse house with a bed in there just to be a coward for when Plantera feels like my life shouldn't exist anymore. You know, there's a giant flaming flower with smaller versions of itself spewing out everywhere with their only purpose being to disembowel and mutilate everything in its path. And the nurse seems surprisingly chill about it. Well, that's fine. I could just juke this flower. I didn't set my spawn point. Seriously, Red, you have to fix the monitor bite mark glitch. It's really starting to affect my gaming skills. I've heard some of the things said about Plantera, and I must ask, what about this thing is attractive? It is a freaking flower! I'm sorry your misuse of particular substances makes you have lucid dreams about Plantera. Plantera is a salad. She is the salad boss. She's just murderous because we saw that salad dressing. Little does she know the immense power we hold with our RGB Gamer Guillotines. With the power of various colored fire, we deep fry Plantera and serve it at a 2-star restaurant. As much as I want to make another Waffle Time reference to the repetitive cliche joke about how the temple represents people on social media who might have been born just to inconvenience others, I think I'll pass. The only thing the temple reminds me of is depression and despair. You can't even craft a power cell anymore. You can on the 3DS, but that's too much of an advanced feature for modern Terraria. What happened here? Why? No, the arena is just this sad, limp tumor. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that Golem will hit really freaking hard. Alright, heck it. Maybe I'm into being hit really freaking hard, which isn't true because it hurts. I chop off Golem's stupid fists and then fittingly chop off Golem's head with my RGB Gamer Guillotines. I hope that somewhere in the future people are able to have rocket thrusters beneath their chin just in case their head gets chopped off. Goo goo gaga, goo goo gaga, goo goo gaga, please. That fight got me so spooked that I devolved back into an infant. Don't ask how beetle husks can make the tankiest armor in the game, or why they drop from Golem of all places. They unfortunately make me lose that iced out drip and the B in RGB Gamer Guillotines. Now it's just RG Guillotines. What is it? Rated G Guillotines? That's lame. You know, it's kind of weird that I still have guillotines from the beginning of hard mode. Surely there's a better weapon that I can get. How about I replace my cursed flame imbue addiction with an even more crippling and unhealthy venom imbue addiction? I just want that damage. Now that I've ripped off Golem's fist enough times, I'm able to use it as a weapon of my own. This thing would be pretty good if it did damage. It is literally another chain knife. KO cannon clone, but this time with way more range. This thing isn't that much better than the classic decapinator attackinator, but it can do more damage if you get close to the enemy. But that suddenly makes fights dangerously seem more like a true melee challenge. There's only one more launched flail to obtain, and I'm pretty sure it's better than a sad fist. It's dropped by this weird fever dream a relogic employee made up while tripping on way too much sugar. Skittles, Reese's Pieces, Big Macs, all the sugar there is. I thought I'd use Golem's flimsy gripper because it's funny to kill Duke Fishatron with that. I don't know, man. Something about those long fangs make me want to grab each one and slowly pull them out of their sockets. How? Dude, it's missing so many walls. Dude, this is not your home anymore. What are you freaking doing? No, there isn't. You don't have a chair. Where's the Shooting Bull houses? It doesn't have a banner. That's a solid block! Did you know that when you fish, the fish is actually kind of getting killed? Yeah, once you catch a fish and it's halfway dead, their eyes begin to glow and it gains the ability to spin furiously. If this ever happens, don't worry. All you have to do is punch the little Nemo in the face. It's invisible. Lucky for me, I am fast! Did you know that almost all humans are able to win a marathon against a fish? Yeah, they don't have legs. That's exactly how you kill Duke Fishatron. I somehow defy all rules on how luck works and actually get what I want on my first try. If you have ever used this, it's basically just a golem fist, but with bubbles. Homing bubbles. The next boss is really angry. The Empress of Light has recently gained the ability to go onto the internet. She cannot recover from what she saw. She decides to take out all of her anger on me, even though I had nothing to do with what she saw. Wait, hold on. Before I continue, where's the recording where I fight Empress? I seriously don't know how I lost it, or if I just didn't record it, but I still need that soaring insignia for Squidward and the Gamer Boy, so I go back to the recording, again, replicate all the armor and accessories, again, and take on Empress. Spoiler alert, Empress still has access to the internet. She went through Reddit, Discord, every website, saw all the artwork, all the sins that people have committed. I'm not really that sorry to say this to you people, but you're not gonna have it your way with Empress stomping on my invisible reputation, and Soul has just confirmed that I'm not allowed to finish that sentence. Empress then stumbles across something horrible halfway through the fight. This piece of art is so vile, so incriminating, so freakishly down bad that no one who saw this will recover from their innocence in any possible way. It is so detailed and so well drawn that a 20-year coma won't scrub that memory away. It is a disgusting mark on the internet that had no reason to exist. No matter how innocent one can be, she will ionize them out of existence. You know, it's really fitting that her bestiary entry says on how she's bent on scrubbing the land of any and all impurity. I forgore goat mount. I'm sure a goddess is just overjoyed to be annoyed again by a guy with a fish tied to a chain. Alright, I think that's enough scripting for one boss. I only nurse healed once. Reforge. The next boss on the list is the lunatic cultist. He still thinks that Nintendo Land is a popular game. It never really was, you stupid idiot. The nerd doesn't even have any real life friends to play with. It's all Donkey Kong obstacle, of course, for this guy. You already know I'm not getting caught playing with this nerd. I just freaking love the lunar events. I like the Stardust Pillar the most because you don't really have to do anything. Then it just dies. Oh, wrong clip. The amount of joy I have with continually killing alien wasp children over and over can't match anyone else's. But it's in this beautiful moment that the unfunniest 6-year-old on the bus comes up to me and whispers into my ear the latest funniest shiz known to man.
You really got to have that Ohio Riz. The amount of skibbity you have is phantom-tastic.
That joke made me laugh so freaking hard that my lungs exploded. You know what, kid? I'll explode your house for that. Your weird pillar wart house. The solar pillar is scary and requires a lot of patience. You walk in and get wrecked. Barely even tried. I don't even spend a fraction of a millisecond in the nebula pillar and I get deboned. What does that even mean? Like I get ripped off my bones? Mangled. I swear these lasers have grown hands and are able to do unspeakable actions against humanity. Holy crap. I look down and see that Squidward is rapidly approaching my location. It appears I've said way too many I'm readies and Squidward hit the gym, looking for a way to stop my downright silly antics. Little does he know, I've strapped a fish to a chain and called it a day. In the SpongeBob universe, I just took a random pedestrian and tied it to a rope and told it to blow as many bubbles as possible. Squidward refutes by opening his third eye and blasting. Another eyeball takes its gum and sticks it into my hair. Then his rude eyeball friend hits the uppercut cut of the century. Gardening really relaxes me after a long failed fight. Not real gardening. No, like, I like farming cookies. Cookie clicker. It's beautiful. And in German for some reason. Something about that Moonlord fight was really annoying. You know, really buttering me up, some would say. I got pretty far without getting deboned. I'm pulling out all the handicaps. I felt bad for Squidward last fight and didn't want to use all the buffs, because it would make him feel bad. But he hit the gym way too much and left me no choice. Round 2, bucko. I look at Squidward as hard as I can. I aim my cursor at his top eye as hard as I can. And I hold down left click as hard as I can. My pointer finger doesn't even know what the outside is or what lifting weights are, but it still gives enough force to swing that fish. The top eye pops out and proceeds to have a seizure. Squidward lets out a youch! He calls me an imbecilic moron. I get mad and stab his left eye socket. I reach the end of the world and panic a little. Don't fret, for I have a funny pocket mirror that teleports me home. Just so you all know, that nurse house is still dripping in that cheese. Remember that keyword? Dripping. You know what they say, drip or drown. And you know that house ain't drowning on any day of the week. All that's left is Squidward's empty, sad heart. He pulls out his clarinet and schlorps. It has little to no effect, as this fish hits harder than shredded cheese at 3 a.m. Squidward has pulled out all of his cards. No more grumpy mornings. No more gosh awful clarinet solos. All there is sweet, sweet victory. This playthrough really made me want to fold my desk in half. It really made me want to rip myself in half the long ways. It really made me eat half of my monitor. It really made me feed the other half to my dog. It really made me donate half of my mouse to charity. It really made me explode half of I recently watched my previous and only other channel playthrough and realized just how awful it was. Holy heckin' deer sign. I could lightly caress this brain and it would fall 6 feet under. It was far from true humor, but I think that this video you probably just watched the entirety of is a god compared to that playthrough. See, I get to wake up in 7 days, go to my channel, and get confused as to why 2 people cared to click on a niche Terraria class only playthrough. Who's gonna care about launched flails? From a channel that holy! Wow, that lethal company really did it. Thank you. It's cliche, but it's cool. This weird and wacky hobby led to people actually caring. I don't really know how to conclude a video, so